You're a young kid in the 90s, about to battle against supernatural threats. And of course, the adults don't even realize what's going on. What could go wrong in Out of This World? And welcome back to Tantrum House Studio J. I'm Jonah. Today we're going to be doing a review of Out of This World from Devir Games. In Out of This World, you're playing as a teenager in the 90s with your group of friends who are trying to collect objects to defeat supernatural enemies. This game is a cooperative game and it plays in about 60 minutes for 3 to 5 people. Devir Games was kind enough to send us a copy, so let's jump into it and see how it's played. The adventure is played over a series of rounds, and each round consists of 3 phases. The Gear Up phase. Take all the adventure cards and deal 5 stacks of 4 face-down cards in the middle of the table. Leave the rest in a pile next to the stacks and then flip over the 5 stacks. The Go For It phase. Starting with the vocal player, your turn is broken down into 2 steps. Step 1. Take 1 card from the top of one of the stacks and put it in your hand. However, if a foe is visible, you must take one of them and place it to the right of your character card. Step 2. You may take one of the following actions. Play a set of 2 item cards and pass the lowest value one to another player. Play a set of 3 item cards to equip the lowest value one. Play a set of item cards listed on your foe to defeat that foe. And lastly, you can spend an equipped item to activate its ability. The Taking Care of Things phase. This phase is triggered when all 5 stacks are empty. You can complete this phase in 3 steps. Step 1, check for victory. If you've met the victory conditions described on the adventure card, you have won the game. Step 2, reduce time tokens. You must discard time tokens from the time tracker equal to the number of foes each player has. If you discard the last time token, you immediately lose the game. Step 3, discard down. Each player must discard cards in their hand until they have only 5 cards. After this phase is completed, you pass the vocal player token to the player on the left, and this begins the next round. Out of This World is a short, fun, cooperative game for 3 to 5 players. I think the outside of the box says 10 plus, age 10 plus, and I agree with them. We've had a good time getting Out of This World to our table. The one thing that makes Out of This World tricky or fun to repeat and play, get a lot of replayability out of, is that only one person, the vocal player, can actually speak at a time. So there's a walkie-talkie token or symbol that you pass around the table each round, and the player who has that is the one that's allowed to speak. So it makes it tricky because you've got 5 stacks of cards in the middle of the table, and you might want to try to go for 6s or 5s or 4s, whatever you've got in your hand to complete those sets. But if you're not allowed to speak and someone else doesn't realize that you're going for that set, they might take it from you. It's almost like Uno in the fact that you can complete sets of the same color or of same numbers. So I could be going for 6s, but the person to my left is going for blue. So if there's a blue 6, they might take it when they don't realize I'm going for 6s, and if we're not allowed to communicate, that makes it tough. Out of This World's got a couple of different scenarios that come in the box. I think the very first scenario that they encourage you to play is called the Birthday Bash, and so the foes that come out aren't too difficult to beat. But in some of the other scenarios, you get more difficult foes that come out where you have to assign more equipment to them in order to beat them. It just makes it a little tougher. A lot more time comes off of that time tracker while you're trying to beat those foes. So like I mentioned, we've had a really good time getting Out of This World to our table over in Studio J. We've been able to play with 3 players and also 4 players a number of times, and both times it made it a little bit more challenging. The higher the player count, the harder it is to complete those sets. We noticed when we played with 3 players, we didn't use the set completion of 2 cards very often, where if you complete a set of 2 cards, you can pass the lower number card to a different player to kind of help them complete their sets. We didn't use that as much with 3 players, but when we had 4 players, we used that pretty significantly, because if you take the card that someone else is trying to have, you realize, oh goodness, it would better serve us to pass that card over to the next player so they can maybe defeat their foes or have a set collection, because if you acquire too many foes, you start to lose too many time tokens. And so to work cooperatively to beat the game like that, it makes it pretty fun. Anyway, that's Out of This World from Devir Games. If you're interested in seeing more game reviews or previews or overviews, stay right here. Subscribe to our channel. Give us a comment below. Tell us what other videos and games you want to see. We look forward to hearing from you. We look forward to you to watching our videos. Thanks so much, and have a great day.